Please be aware, in this podcast series we talk about all areas of safeguarding, which some people may find upsetting. So please make sure you're okay listening to today's topic. Be mindful of those around you, such as children, that you might not want to listen in. Hi, I'm SSS Safeguarding Director Sam Preston.
And I'm former head teacher and content author Sarah Spinks.
Today we're looking at a topic which affects workers across all industries. We're talking about protecting them from violence and aggression in the workplace. So the Health and Safety Executive reports, they reported in 2021, 800,000 workers in the UK reported experiencing violence, harassment or bullying in the workplace. So work-related violence and aggression that can have devastating effects on individuals and organisations alike. So, Sarah, can we start with a definition? What is work-related violence?
Well, the Health and Safety Executive, or HSE, defines work-related violence as any incident in which a person is abused, threatened or assaulted in circumstances relating to their work. It's crucial, I think, for employers to take sort of proactive measures to safeguard their workers from these risks. And they have a legal duty to protect their employees from work-related violence and aggression.
Yeah, and I think that legal duty, I think we need to not lose sight of that. So it falls into four categories, doesn't it? So
yeah.
First of all, we've got that criminal intent. So violence or aggression by a non-employed perpetrator who comes into the workplace.
So I think is that sort of like any member of the public or organisation who enters the premises to commit a criminal act, like we've seen in school shootings, for example, in the US or Dunblane, that deliberate act. Would you say that's what that is? Yeah.
Yeah, it's somebody who comes into the workplace with that intention. Yeah. So the second is customer and client on worker abuse.
So I suppose in that sort of school context, I'm thinking it could be things like parents or relatives, coming into school with that sort of intention of verbal or physical abuse, an aggrieved person in that respect.
Yeah, absolutely. And then third type, you've got worker on worker abuse, which I think is self-explanatory. And then finally, personal, relationship abuse. So where the personal abuse spills over into the workplace environment.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to stress that all of these include verbal abuse, emotional abuse and threats, as well as actual physical attacks. So this duty applies to all workers, whether they are full-time employees, contractors, freelancers, or self-employed. So employers play a crucial role in preventing incidents, providing that appropriate training and supporting workers in the aftermath of violent encounters.
Yes, I think we need to break down some of the sort of key responsibilities really of both the employer and workers when it comes to protecting them against sort of those work-related violence and aggression.
Yeah. So for employers, preventing incidents is essential. That's the key focus. So this involves implementing measures to identify potential hazards, such as assessing the layout of the workplace and implementing security measures like CCTV and alarm systems. It's all about assessing potential risk.
Yeah, but it's also, I think, about providing that comprehensive training to workers. I think that's also crucial. Training programs should equip employees with that knowledge and the skills necessary to recognise the warning signs and give them the skills to try and de-escalate confrontational situations and respond effectively, to incidents of violence.
Yeah. It'll be no surprise to anyone that I'm going to highlight reporting and recording. Accurate and effective recording incidents is another important responsibility for employers. So reporting measures should be known. As we've said already, it's not just the employed staff. by establishing procedures for reporting and recording incidents, employers, they can create that accurate picture of risks and triggers for violence, enabling them to refine their control measures and support affected workers. And I'm just going to throw this into the mix as well as protecting staff. The organisation has to protect itself from potential litigation. So reporting and recording mechanisms, they really need to be effective.
Yeah, and of course, supporting workers in the aftermath of a violent incident is paramount. This may include HR and occupational health referrals, offering counselling services and sessions, adjusting job roles or working conditions, and I think ensuring that colleagues, are trained to provide support to their peers, which is crucial.
Yeah, and that is a really important point. Whilst employers bear primary responsibility for protecting workers from violence and aggression, employees also have a role to play in maintaining a safe working environment.
Yeah, that's right. And workers, they should cooperate with employees, take care of health and safety, and report any incidents promptly, because I think that will allow for that appropriate support and corrective actions to be taken.
Yeah. So let's focus on the practical actions. What are some examples of preventative measures that employers can implement, Sarah?
Well, education and training are key. So ensuring that all staff receive that comprehensive training on recognising and managing aggressive behaviour can make a significant difference. And environments like schools, where the safety and well-being of both students and staff are paramount, that sort of specialised guidance tailored, to school staff is essential. So I think take the time to embed those principles of risk assessment.
Yeah, and just cutting in there, in my experience, if staff understand the principles and purpose behind risk assessment, it almost becomes an automatic part of the practice. It embeds it rather than a paperwork task that all too often they can be quite dismissive of.
Absolutely. And yeah, and understanding individual needs. I know sort of from my experience that we had key parents or relatives that we knew had a tendency to behave aggressively. So we always put safeguards in place to enable staff. If we knew that that parent was coming in, then I, as the head, would be more likely to see that parent or make sure that there was a senior member of staff around. So that's about implementing preventative measures, creating that supportive environment, and promoting those positive relationships are all really crucial aspects of protecting staff in schools from work-related violence and aggression.
Yeah. So by implementing these specialised guidance measures, schools can create safer and more supportive environments for staff members, enabling them to fulfil their roles effectively whilst prioritising their well-being and safety. If you'd like more information on embedding a robust risk assessment culture, you can check out the SSS Learning training course. We've got a training course available and you can find that on our website.